And welcome back to the Reapers. So a very quick tactical replay for you today, and this was the mission where we took the warbirds in and we stole a bunch of high value jets. Okay, and so most of the mission we don't need to do the replay on. What happened, in case you didn't watch the mission, was we took off from here in warbirds. We came to a Redfall base which was relatively lightly defended, and the fighters were out on manoeuvres at the time out there. We destroyed the AAA and landed our warbirds, then disembarked from our warbirds and stole a bunch of F-15s, F-18s, Mirages, Harriers and stuff like that, high value jets. And then the mission was to gauntlet run them from here over the mountains, 150 miles exactly, to Mozdok over there somewhere at base. And standing in our way was the F-18s out on manoeuvres there. And so there's nothing really particularly tactical or anything to learn by it. I thought we'd just have a look to see what actually happened, because you couldn't really tell on the actual mission. So we take off. So we deliberately didn't speak between us what any of us were doing. I don't know why, just for fun really. And it turned out we all did different things, which is pretty cool. We all went different directions. The worst thing we could have done, I suppose, if we'd all gone the same altitude and all gone direct to Mozdok as the crow flies. But as soon as we took off, you can see we all spread out. Someone's even going backwards, and we all had different ideas, basically. So let's see. We had Whistler in an F-15. He went mill power and low. Elkin mill power and low in an F-5. Static mill power low. Mirage trash mill power low. Mirage Gumbo full power AV8B low. Cap went backwards. So my idea was to get, when I wanted to be Mach 2.5 and at least 40,000 feet by the time I got to these fighters here. So I went backwards and afterburned looped over up to 40,000 feet. That's how ridiculously powerful the aeroplane is, and I was over kind of 200 knots all the time there. Stupidly powerful aircraft. And then my idea was to be Mach 2.5 by the time I hit that mountain there. Seethor kind of doing the same thing, but he was an F-18. He went just directly forward and climbed straight away. He's already up to Angels 43. His plane isn't as good for this kind of thing. The F-18 isn't as fast or as powerful or as good high up as the F-15 when it comes to fast cruising. So he's going to struggle to get up to the speed, but he made it fine anyway. And Shifty, same kind of thing. He was going high, Angels 50 in the end, but he's also circling around the edge, so he's going for super safety. The rest of the low guys just kind of split up in a kind of like a trident and just went all different directions through the canyons, basically. Looking at Reds. Reds made a bit of an error. So obviously none of us were armed, none of us were a threat, basically. So the first thing the Reds should have done, obviously, is split up, and so they can cover as much ground as they can with their radars. But they all kind of flew in formation, so all of their radars are all looking at the same narrow beam of ground all the time. So it was a bit inevitable that they weren't going to do very well. And also, if they'd have spread out, one there, one there, one there, they would have covered all this ground with their radar. And eventually, one of these blue guys has to pop up over a valley, and they would have caught someone. So yeah, I'm surprised they didn't catch Whistler. I think if Whistler had gone down that canyon there, he possibly would have got caught. I'm not really sure. That's about it there. Let's see where our guys are at. Cap is at wow, Mach 2.1 already. Obscenely fast aircraft. And 40,000 feet. Seethor is at Mach 1.07. So there's difference between the two planes. They've been going for the same amount of time, but the F-15's at Mach 2.25 now. Hornet's only at Mach 1.1. They're both going full power. They've both got no ordnance on. So the F-15's just so beautifully optimised and so powerful. Static's playing with fire. She's just gone straight over the mountain there rather than down the canyon, but somehow Redfall didn't spot her. They should, their radar should have picked that up easily, so Static's quite lucky there. Shifty is at, let's have a look, Mach 1.94. Of course, the flanker has a lot more lift than the F-15, but it's also a lot more draggy with it, and so it's much slower. If we look at the speed difference, let's try and get that. Where's Cap? There he is. So Cap's Mach 2.5 now. That's maxing out the speed for the F-15. and the SU is only up to Mach 2.1. At this point, the Red 4 have already basically, of course, they've all come together. They've all gone down this small narrow band, which is where none of us were. Basically, they've all basically got to the edge of the mountains and realised at this point that we're nowhere to be seen. They've cocked up and they've got to go back and try and backtrack us now, which is going to be impossible because they're not as fast as us. Basically, Cap's just overtaken Seethor. I'm at 1440 knots true airspeed, which is just stupid. All the other guys just working their way around. Whistler went round Mount Idris, which looked pretty cinematic, pretty cool. Gumbo's going the long route round the, the east. Quarter Cap's now 2.54, so that's above the, I think, official speed record of the F-15. So my aluminium's going to be melting at this point. Flanker is at 2.03. I think it's probably pretty much topped out for the flanker. It's too high for a high speed run, that's why. If a high speed run, not optimal, about Angel's 40 usually. Although he's diving now, so he might get it up to 2.2, I think is the... wow, look at Cap, 2.6. I've never seen a 15 go that fast. Of course, I'm in a slight dive. You see my Angel's decreasing. That maxed out at 2.61. So even if the F-18s had seen these high guys, especially the F-15, there's a good chance they wouldn't have been able to shoot them because we're just so fast. Unless we were going head-on, directly head-on. The missile is really going to struggle to catch and compute a plane going 2.61. So we're almost immortal up there, which is pretty cool. Right, Cap's already at the base and landed. Seethor gets there. Obviously, we're all safe now. These guys have realised they cock up and they're finally turning around. Whistler runs into some wires, which now have physics by all accounts, so don't run into wires. Static. Well, I'll show you. Roll forward. Let's go and have a look at that, shall we? So these guys realise what's happened. They've just caught us landing, so they're firing long-range missiles, extremely long-range missiles. Don't know who at. 31 miles. There's not much hope in that. Missiles died. Another one at 24 miles. Gumbo's on final, getting shot by a missile, but 24 miles down here is never going to hit. Surprised the SAs haven't fired yet. Let me speed that up. First SA-10s are coming out at what? Can't really see that. Must be about 20 miles. Warren's going defensive. Harrier's got down okay. Just static now. Looks like these missiles here have been scratched. See if I can get a better shot at that. More missiles going up. At 18 miles or so. Warren doing some more dodging. Missiles still tracking. Warren 8 miles from static, so nearly within kill range. That missile's still going. What's it going to do? Missile out at 7 miles. Scratched the missile nicely. Doing well at scratching all these missiles. And I think this missile somehow goes and hit. Bearing in mind it is out of... Oh, of course it's going so slowly, I see. And look at that. It's very unfortunate. That missile was completely out of energy at that point. And that static down, literally just glided into that mirage. And I'm pretty sure Warren gets hit. Oh, he's going to go into it, is he? Boom! I did alright to get in so far at least. And that's that. Hope you enjoyed that, and see you later.